Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome to Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium, and it's time for the Coach Jay McAuley Show, brought to you by RJ Rockers. Well, let's see, how many games do we cram into January? 11 games, and since we last spoke, I think we played 5. Life in the SoCon, life on the roller coaster. How you doing through all this?
Doing good. I got a good ball club. We're looking forward to February. We're right in the mix where we want to be. In a really good league, as always, and there's not a better time to be in college basketball than February and March, so we're looking forward to finishing strong.
Hard to believe we got just about a month to go before the Southern Conference basketball tournament in Asheville. We'll talk about, again, some of the ups and downs, some great wins, some frustrating losses. We'll look back on it all and tease the upcoming games, especially a big one coming up this Saturday at home here at Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium. It's all ahead here on the Jay McAuley Show.
There's only one you. For over a century, Park National Bank has served customers and communities with a hands-on approach that sees you as the unique person you are, delivering more than you expect from a bank. More reliability, more attention, more flexibility, more sophisticated financial services, more going the extra mile. Because at Park, you mean more.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's start off with the last game since we last had a coaches show, and that was the home game against the Citadel. Good win, extended a win streak to 3, and kind of the high point so far of BJ Mack's season. BJ had 27 in that game. Max Klesman had 25, but we always look at each other, Tom Henson and I, on the broadcast and say, where would Wofford be without BJ Mack this season? He's just played great for you.
Played great. He's been pretty consistent. We've been able to manage some foul trouble. He's smart to stay away from some of those scenarios, and we need a few other guys to do that as well. But BJ's been really steady for us, and we've had to use him in a lot of different ways when Messiah went out, and he's just been he's done a phenomenal job in terms of leading, his skill inside, his ability to be a threat outside. I think heading into last game, he was shooting over 50% in league play, which I think was number 1 in the conference. He's worked on a lot of parts of his game, and we feed off that, and it makes us really difficult to guard in some ways.
And, it took you guys, I want to say 4 or 5 games to kind of learn how to play without Messiah Jones. BJ a big part of that. Sam Godwin a big part of that. You're getting contributions at times from David Applegren and some other guys who have to play against bigs who aren't big guys. How did you as a coaching staff work through all of that?
Yeah, I mean, we just really haven't spent a whole lot of time of focusing on what we don't have. It's more of what we do have and trying to get guys to really buy into helping the team as best they can and next man up, and as a collective unit, I think we can each chip in with that. And BJ has had to play, a couple games over 34, 35 minutes. He couldn't do that last year. And that's a lot of, testament to his hard work and his focus. And other guys have had to play longer minutes. So we're going to use this week as a time to get better and healed up a little bit physically. But we'll need BJ to continue to play well.
Absolutely. So the winning streak at 3 after the Citadel game. And then you go up against, so far, what's been proven to be the iron of the Southern Conference, Furman and then Chattanooga. That was going to be a tough 2-game swing in any circumstances. You ran into 2 ball clubs that are really playing well right now.
Yeah, I think it all started both with the first possession of each game. We get a stop, and that team gets an offensive rebound, kicks it out for a 3 or a second chance opportunity. That can get a little deflating. We haven't handled those moments very well, and we've got to be more mature in terms of moving on to the next play and not allowing some of those things to really get us in a hole to where we got to scrap and claw, which we did. I mean, it's 24-22 in the Furman game. It's 37-33 in the Furman game. and we just spent a lot of energy catching up to those guys. Giving up 18 threes to them, you're going to have a long night. Chattanooga giving up a lot of jump shots and wide open shots to their guys. It's going to be a long night. But I like where our team is heading. We're going to have a lot of good moments here in February, and as long as we continue to focus on those little things, we'll be just fine.
So that's the question. How would the Terriers respond next when we come back? The return matchup with UNCG next here on the Jay McAuley Show.
It doesn't matter if you're active on the road or in the gym. Your body is your strongest tool. Spartanburg Regional Sports Medicine Institute is here to push you to the next level. With partnerships across Spartanburg County schools, we're here when it happens. We diagnose, treat, and heal at the Sports Medicine Institute to get you back and active, in the gym, in the game, and to the next level. We never quit because you never quit.
Welcome back to the Coach Jay McAuley Show, brought to you by RJ Rockers. I'm Jim Noble. So UNC Greensboro comes to town. Obviously a very frustrating game when you played the Spartans up in Greensboro. You lost a game you probably thought you should have had. Your team was ready to play when they came back and proved it by dropping 19 threes on the Spartans that night.
Yeah, definitely felt like we let one slip away up in Greensboro, and a few of those games we've done that. And Sam Godwin going out in the first 4 minutes of that game really pressed us in terms of our depth, and I thought we ran out of steam up there, but not the other night. We really came with a focus and an energy and a collective belief on both sides of the floor, and I thought you saw the ball moving, 22 assists. Against a very, very good defensive team. They're the #1 defensive team in the conference. That's what this team can be, and that's what our staff is trying to convince these guys. If we choose to make some hard choices, if we choose to play that way every time, we're going to have a good chance to be in a lot of these ball games.
You mentioned all the assists, and the first name that comes to my mind is Ryan Larson. The way he's playing point guard, not only his senior leadership, but his assist to turnover ratio is astounding. I think he's third in the conference in total assists. He's given you that level of stability that with a very young team that goes up and down sometimes, he really smooths a lot of things out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he cares at a high level. Everybody who knows Wofford basketball knows he's one of the toughest guys to ever put the jersey on. And he's a desperate senior. We talk about that a lot, of just wanting to go out and leave his mark and go out as a champion. And he understands there was a lot of question marks coming in this year. Who was going to run the point? And we haven't had a whole lot of depth there. Along with Messiah, not a whole lot of depth at the post. So he's had to play 33, 34 minutes a game, sacrifice his body. You see him, he's all taped up, and to handle the ball like he has, I think he's top 20 right now in assist to turnover ratio in the entire country. So couldn't be more proud of him. Love coaching 11. He's going to have a great ending here. I just have a feeling he puts in the work every day. He's going to lead us here down the stretch.
Now, after the UNCG game, obviously you're feeling pretty good about yourself, but the schedule doesn't do you any favors in terms of a quick turnaround. You got to get right back on the bus on Sunday, head down to Macon, Georgia, and against a Mercer team that was a little shorthanded at the point guard position, you come out. Again, it's those first 4 or 5 minutes that you talk about. In this case, though, the Terriers bounce back until the last 5 minutes got you again. I know that was a frustrating game on Monday down at Mercer.
Very much so. And it's the exact same start to the game we just spoke about with Furman and Chattanooga. You get a stop, they get an offensive rebound, they kick it out, make a three, and then you kind of get on your heels. They're all hooting and hollering in their home arena. And, you know, I was really proud of the way we responded in some gaps, but we're still having large pockets where, you know, we're gifting points to them just off simple passing and catching errors. We're not blocking out. We're not a team that can't afford not to block out, and they get extra possessions. Simple plays at the rim where we're missing layups and ones. got to have those on the road. Got to be able to finish. Got to be able to step up on the free throw line when the game's on the line and knock those crucial free throws down. All those little things will add up, and on the road, especially in the Southern Conference, you can't have those moments. And our guys really felt like they let one slip away, and it's a tough lesson. But again, every time we've responded this year, it's been because we share the ball and we're playing for each other on the defensive end, and that'll continue.
And the word that always seems to come to mind, we've been through this in years past with Wofford basketball teams, is resiliency. How do you quantify resiliency? Is it something that just has to come from within individually with each player, or can you as a coaching staff create resiliency amongst your team?
Yeah, you got no choice but to have resiliency, and we're right in the mix of this league race. So we tend to focus on the things that count and focus on the things that either win or lose ball games and tell the truth. I think that's what the guys respond to. You know, selling them something that ain't real, or I can see right through that. So speaking the truth to these guys, having a lot of individual and collective meetings, and just making sure we're all pulling the right way. Hey, this is what we look like when we're really good, and this is what we look like when we're not so good. That's still something that needs to be painted, and it's how those guys respond. And our guys, I think, for the most part, have done that well this year.
All right, when we come back, we will jump right into the February schedule with a home game against ETSU on Saturday. We'll preview that next here on the Jay McAuley Show.
Wofford takes down Carolina, and the Furman Paladins have defeated
The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen in your dreams, kid. 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
Next up for the Wofford Terriers, a home game and a different start time. Saturday, 2 p.m. against East Tennessee State University. First of all, the start time, a little bit different look for you guys.
I'm excited about this one.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, life as a coach, when you have 7 p.m. games on Saturday, it's a long day for these guys and our staff. Just waiting, you know, as a competitor, you want to play at 8 a.m. So we're looking forward to it. Hopefully it's a nice afternoon game where all the families can come out, enjoy the game, go get some dinner here in beautiful Spartanburg, and celebrate hopefully a victory.
Love to see a packed house. It's a national TV game on CBS Sports Network, but come on down if you can. Let's talk about that first game up there at ETSU where you really took their crowd out of it. It is tough to beat any team in this conference twice. Teams make adjustments.
Yeah.
And when the previous matchup goes your way, there's a tendency to just say, hey, let's just do what worked the first time. Not that easy, is it?
It isn't. We were the more aggressive team, I thought, over the course of 40 minutes. They're a super talented team, well-coached team. I played for Coach Oliver at Georgia. Got a lot of respect for him and how they do things. And they've got some older guys, right, that are super talented that on any given night can just go off for 25-plus points. So we're going to have to be really, really dialed into knowing who they are and what their tendencies are, and be very, very married and committed to blocking out on the shot because they're athletic. They can get second chance points. They can really run in transition. They hurt us there a little bit in the first half with that aspect of the game, but I thought we controlled the game for the most part. And again, we were ourselves. We were really simple on both ends.
Let's continue to the Jay McAuley tradition of knocking off his former coaches in the rematch. You did it to Mike Jones at UNCG. Hopefully you do it to Coach Oliver, ETSU. So that one again, Saturday, 2 p.m. And looking forward, of course, as we love to do as far as the media, at Sanford, home against Western Carolina, at Citadel. If you're playing your brand of basketball, you do have a chance to get on a little bit of a roll here.
We do, and you know, I don't want our guys looking too far ahead of the races. All of us coaches and media can do that, and it's just we got to with this group, with how we are. We're more of a one possession at a time deal, I think we've played fairly well on the road in most cases. We've always been in games. We've had a lot of games where we're in the balance. We just got to figure out how to start better and how to close better. And that's what this February is going to be geared towards. We've got an unbelievable leader in Ryan Larson and Max Klesmit and those guys, a steadiness in BJ Mack and Morgan Safford, and a lot of guys that are coming on from the bench that I think I'm excited to see where this ball club goes.
All right, speaking of closers, when we close things out, a look ahead at the rest of the Southern Conference schedule and Jay's thoughts on some of the other teams that are making some news in the conference. That's coming up next.
It doesn't matter if you're active on the road or in the gym. Your body is your strongest tool. Spartanburg Regional Sports Medicine Institute is here to push you to the next level. With partnerships across Spartanburg County schools, we're here when it happens. We diagnose, treat, and heal at the Sports Medicine Institute to get you back and active, in the gym, in the game, and to the next level. We never quit because you never quit.
And welcome back to the Coach Jay McAuley Show, brought to you by RJ Rockers. Let's take a look at the conference, because right now, Wofford is in the middle. You could put a blanket over about 6 teams, and the Terriers are smack in the middle. Yes, Chattanooga's had a great start to the conference season with 1 loss. Yes, Furman has looked fantastic, especially over their last 4 or 5 ball games. But for anybody who just wants to go to Asheville and just say, let's watch the Paladins and the Mocks meet in the conference final, I think they've got another think to them, because on any given night, I know it's a cliche, Jay, but the conference top to bottom is stout.
Yeah, it's very balanced, and those 2 teams have been able to close out some games that maybe us and some other teams in the middle have not. And, you know, there's a lot of basketball to be played. February is going to be sprinkled in with a lot of 7 to 9 games for each team to play, and there's going to be a lot of movement still. So in every game we play, we feel like we got a great opportunity. Even in a tough league like this, we still feel like we're one of the contenders down there in March. We just got to take care of ourselves 1 possession at a time, get a little healthy, and get off to a good start here in February.
Yeah, when Chattanooga's lone conference loss came to the team that currently ranks last in conference play, that tells you top to bottom how strong the conference is. I think maybe in closing, a key for you guys is when you win big. Yeah. A lot of the losses have been of those 1 or 2 possession varieties, and you say, oh, that's an easy thing to clean up. As you get into those last 4-minute situations, does anything have to change in terms of what happens out on the floor, or are you confident in your guys' ability to grasp that and make corrections?
Yeah, I'm confident in our guys. We talk about it all the time. You got to close games. Everyone's going to get more desperate, right, when you're down, to claw back, more committed to what the coach is saying. We can't be so fatigued and fat and happy, so to speak, in the last 4 or 5 minutes, thinking that teams are going to roll over. And even in some big wins we've had, that gap's kind of shrunk a little bit the last 4 minutes of guys naturally thinking the game's over. We're not that type of ball club yet. We got a lot of young guys, and this league is too good to think that way. So we got to close games. We can't be so fragile when things don't go our way, or when teams are desperate and want to claw back into things. We got to get even more resolved in what we do and how we do things, and I think you'll see that.
It's a 40-minute game. We'll make sure this isn't a 40-minute show, so we'll say goodbye. Thanks very much, and best of luck. We'll see you out here Saturday.
Thanks, Jim.
For Coach Jay McAuley, I'm Jim Noble. As always, thanks so much for watching the Jay McAuley Show, and we'll see you next time.